Hello all, welcome to qvalidation.com. So in this session we will see how we can handle web table by using Selenium. So we will come to know how we can identify a table on a browser and its elements, like how we can access the rows, columns and the data inside the table. And with this we will see how easily we can access the data by using CSS and XPath with this. Okay, so how a basic web table looks like. So let's see a basic web table. So if you go to a basic web table, so it looks like somewhat like this. Okay, you will have rows and then you will have columns. Okay, now if we inspect this particular web table, we will see the HTML DOM for that web table. So if you see, this table starts from here. Okay, so basically the table ID is table 01. Now if you see the t head is nothing but the header section of the table. So some table might have this t head and some will not have. Okay, so if there is a header, then you can see that inside a t head tag. Okay, below to that or underneath that you will get the row, that is tr is nothing but the table row. Okay, so if I highlight that, so you can see is the first row, that is the heading row, and inside that you will get something called as the th is nothing but the header cell. Okay, so each header element will be called as th. So if I am moving towards one by one, you can see the cells. Okay, so that is all about your t head. Now what is t body? T body is actually your the table where actual data is present. Okay, so it's the same structure. How the t head t body will be same. Instead of the header, here you will get the actual value. Again under this you will see something called as tr. Okay, so tr1, okay, and you will get the tr2 and you will get the tr3. Now if I expand this, you will get the td. So if you see here, it's nothing but th, and here you will get the td. So th is nothing but the header cells and td is nothing but your normal body cell. So if I hover on this, you will get the particular element on that. Okay, and these are the basic things which you need for your Selenium automation. Okay, so let's see how we can implement that by using CSS and XPath. Okay, now if you see in Chrome browser itself, we can execute the CSS and the XPath. So quickly let's move to the console. Okay, here's something. So if you want to execute the XPath, you will get something XPath, you will get the $x, and under this, if you can execute the cell values. Okay, you can execute the XPath here. Okay, so here I can give table, that is the table is my table ID, right, or the tag. Okay, table tag. So under this, it's the basic XPath I'm giving. So I have ID, right, which can uniquely identify the table. Okay, so table 01. Okay, so let's just execute this particular thing. So I'm getting certain error here. So let's see what is this error. So it says, okay, there is a syntax error here. So let me quickly go here and I need to give here 1. Okay, so now if I execute this, you will get something, the table, that is my table. Okay, so if you put this one under driver.findElement by XPath, this particular thing, you can identify the entire table in that. Now let's dig down into bit more details about the table here. Now once I got the table, what I can do, I can go to the t body. T body is nothing but my actual value. Okay, so under this, what I can do, I can go to, if I say tr and then td. Okay, So it basically what I'm looking into. So basically I'm telling go to the table, under that go to the T body and go to tr2. tr2 is nothing but my second row and td2 is nothing but my second column. So it means that I'm telling to go to the second row and second column of the T body. So let's go and check. So is it my second row second column? Yes, because the first column you can see that is nothing but the check boxes and the second column with second row. See why I got the GUI element, because I am telling here to get into the T body, that's why it is going there. So if I won't mention anything, let's say that let's quickly go and execute one more to make it more clarified. So let's say if I'm saying don't go to the T body, rather go to T head. Okay, and here see T head is single row, so I can say tr1 and I will say td3. Now where it is going? So it's not going anywhere, I guess. Okay, so it should, so there is no td concept, right? It's all th. Okay, because for header we don't have td, it's th. Yes, okay, so you can see, so it means that a tr1 under th, t head, go to the first row and third column, that is my third column. So automation testing is my third column. First column is my checkbox, second column is manual testing, third column is this one. Okay, so this is all about your XPath, how to execute. Okay, now let's go to again inspect and then go to console, and this time we will try to execute the CSS. For that, for CSS we can execute like this. Okay, so it's more simple, I mean, as compared to the XPath, because we have something called as annotations for that. So if it is a ID, you need not to mention table, then on the square brackets ID equal to table 01. Rather, if it is an ID, you can use the hash keyword for that. Okay, so now let me go and execute this particular syntax and see if I'm getting or not. Okay, so okay, by mistakenly I give an ampersand. It should be my has table 01. Okay, put it in the double quote, and yes, I'm getting that. Let's go to that. Okay, and the same thing, let me copy paste and bit more dig down into that to see what else I can do with the CSS. So one more thing, so now let's say that if I want to go to the second row and second column as we saw in the XPath, so we have something called as tr, that is my rows, and in that if I say nth child and then I'm telling to go to second, so let's say if it is working or not. Okay, it's the again syntax error. If I, this is nth hyphen, okay, hyphen child 2. Yes, I'm getting now here. If you see, I'm getting the second row, because t head will not be identified until unless I will say that it's a t head. Okay, so it's basically taking the t head and tr, let's say tr, leave it, and let's execute this one. Okay, so I'm not getting anything, so we don't have, this is again, so t head we will have the, so here if you go to th, that is my th, right? Okay, so here you can see, okay, I'm getting the second column. Okay, why it is? Because first one is my table, under that go to the t head, that is my header rows, and in that go to the second column. So second column is nothing but my manual testing column. Okay, so this way we can do it. So instead of the double backward slashes, you can directly give a space here and you can go ahead with that. And if it is a id, so any element with a id you can give a hash sign. If it is a class, you can give just a period on that or a dot. Okay, so this way you can easily, and this is one of the dynamic ways of identifying the elements by using CSS or XPath. Because if you go by using, okay, let's say you will go with the text functional, so this is a basic web HTML table, right? But what if it is a kind of a bigger HTML table? So in that scenario, you might be getting the functional text multiple times across your what you call the table, right? So you cannot identify by using the text, rather you need to go by using the row number and the column number. So initially I just given you a basic idea of how the CSS and XPath works, and how we can utilize these two methods to identify the elements on the web table. Okay, even we do have something, even we can go by using the classic method, that is the driver.find element by tag name and all other different locators, right? So now let's see the implementation one by one, just whatever we discussed. Okay, so let's flip to the Eclipse. Okay, here let me create another package and just give something table, and under this go to and create a new class, that is just give web table and basic main method. Okay, so here what we will do, we will go one step by step everything. Okay, so now let me go into a classic web driver equal to new Chrome driver. So I already added the library files for all the Selenium library files. So I am using currently the 3.7.1. okay, for that. And here let's import the basic Selenium. So quickly I'm just writing the basic driver dot get, and I'm executing this demo site for this. And then for the let's go to system dot set property, and then quickly assign the web driver dot chrome dot driver. Okay, and then let me give the path of my executable file or the Chrome driver where I have kept. It might differ in your case. Okay, so this is my basic to invoke the browser. Okay, now the next thing is that I need to identify the web element, right? Web element, so give a web element. Now I'm trying to find out the driver dot find element by dot id. Okay, this is my the regular method, right? And what will be this one, driver dot table 01, right? So this is my table 01. So by this now I'm only able to identify the table itself. I didn't do any action on this. Okay, now the next thing what I need to do, I need to get all the rows. Okay, so I need to, so now rows are kind of, it's not a single web element, right? I have multiple. So what I can do, I can create a list of web element. Okay, list of web element, and then I'm giving a variable for that. And then what I'm doing under table, so how, the rows are recognized as the tag tr, right? So find element by dot tag name, will that work? Yes, that will work, because all the rows are considered as tr. Okay, and let's import, this will be java util. Okay, so I got the rows. Now once I getting some error. Okay, this should be elements, because I'm getting the multiple elements, it's not a single element, right? Now if okay, so now first thing we will see how many rows I have. So there is some method called as row.size. Okay, so we will see that. Let's write few code blocks and then we will execute that. Okay, total rows. Okay, fine. So I got the rows. Now let's say I want to print all the values from the table. Okay, now I got the rows. Now the next thing what I can do, so how from the table I dig down to the rows, from rows I can dig down to the cells, right? That is nothing but my td. So now what I can do, I need to loop through all the rows. Okay, so if you come to know how we can identify the columns, that by using the tag name as a td, right? So let's quickly copy paste the same code here, and instead of rows let's create something called as columns. Okay, but here what I need to give, I need to give td, because td is nothing but from the end. This one I can go from here to here. Okay, so what I can do, before doing that, let's run a for loop. Okay, so here what I can do, web element, so from each T is, now I got the number of rows here, right? Now I need to get individual rows to go to their columns. So web element, just give any name, let's say single row. This I am using an advanced for loop, right? So or it's called as a collections of elements, right? So what I can do here, instead of table I can say row. Fine, and here what I can do, so I'm getting the number of columns from this particular row, whether it is first row, second row, so it will loop through that many rows, how many rows I have in these rows. Okay, now here what I can do, I can create another for loop. What this for loop will do, this for loop will identify the individual columns. Okay, individual columns of columns. Okay, don't get confused with the variable names, because this rows is the collection of rows. This row is a single row. Here COLS means in a single row how many columns are there. COL is nothing but single column under these columns. Okay, so what I can do in this, so I can print it. So let's print the each columns text, whatever the text is there. Okay, the variable is col dot get text, right? So now let's see if it is working or not. So far what we have done, so we invoked the particular browser under test, and after that we are identifying the table, then we are going to the tr, I mean we are getting all the collection of rows. From that rows we are going inside a single row. From that single row we are going into single columns. Okay, so far we had done that. Now to make it more, let's give a space, let's run it. Until now we didn't use the CSS and the XPath, because we are currently using the basic driver.find element method only. So it should invoke the Chrome browser. Okay, so it's invoking the URL under test, and once the load is completed, and I think it got executed, and here you can see the total number of rows are 4, and then the first row data is this much, second row data is this one, third row data is this one. Okay, so you got it. And because why it is taking only 3, because the header section we are not doing, because we are going with the td only. If you go for the first tr, it's not the, if you go with the first t header, so if you go here, so the header don't have a td tag, rather it has a th tag. Okay, from here onwards only you will get the td tag. Okay, fine. So that's why we are getting only the 3 rows. That is my actual value which we had discussed earlier, right? So let's go to the console. So these are my actual values. So these are basic, the what you call the basic method of identifying the elements. But there are situations where you don't want to print the table text, rather you want to perform certain operations on that elements on that web table, right? So let's see how. we can achieve that. So for now, let's comment it out, all this code. Okay, let's keep till the rows. Okay, so now the next thing what we can do now, we can now try to identify a single element depending on or else let's try in this way by using XPath. Let's see how we can achieve displaying all the values under that table. Okay, so what I can do for this again, here I'm using a basic for loop, not the advanced for loop. Okay, so quickly let me go I equal to 0, then I less than. Here I can use the rows dot size which we had seen before, right? So I plus plus, and then we will use by mistake it came. Okay, so here what I can do the same way, I can use columns. Here I am taking the basic columns in, okay, rows dot. So here something we will get something get index. Now get index is nothing but my I, which I am looping through the number of rows. Okay, and here if you see, you will get something called as a find element. Okay, so here find elements, because under that row how many columns are there we need to see. Okay, so by tag name, so by tag, so far we are using the basic one only what we used before. Okay, now we will see under this we will use the so here we can see another loop. So let's run another loop. Okay, and then here what we can do, instead of row size we need to go for columns size. Okay, because in each row we will have number of columns, right? So through that we are incrementing and checking it. Okay, so here if you see something we can do here, let's identify individual. So okay, let's take the same name only, column equal to driver dot. Here we are identifying single element, not multiple elements. So here we will go for XPath. Okay, so here XPath. So now let's implement the same thing what we had learned earlier. So table, and then id equal to, here what is my id, that is table 1. Okay, so here something, then I'm going to directly to the body. After that what I'm going, I'm looping through the number of rows. Now see, in this case I don't know how many rows I have. Okay, so what I can do now, but I do have my integer I which is incrementing. So here what I will do, instead of hard coding the tr1 2 3, what I can do, I can mention the tr of that particular variable. So let me concatenate that particular variable, that is nothing but I. Then so this is one of the way where you can concatenate that particular what you call. So up to here is one string. So from here I is a variable. After that what I can do, you can close the square bracket. Okay, so let's see if it is working or not. Let me write it as the same replica of the tr. Instead of I, here what I can use, I can use j here. Okay, so plus j, again plus, and again I think I got completed with that. So here again one of the square bracket close. Okay, so I'm done with that. So instead of this what I can do, now let's see if I have something called as get text. Okay, this is simple, don't get confused with the what do you call the, here let me mention something, string column equal to null, just I'm assigning some or initializing some value here. Go with this. Okay, so here let me again repeat what I have done so far. So here I have incremented up to the number of rows. from that row I'm getting the columns. Instead of using advanced for loop, what I'm doing, I'm incrementing the number of columns, and here what I'm doing, simply what I'm doing, I'm is dynamically I'm putting this variable instead of hard coding that. So this is a way of syntax. So here I would have mentioned like this. So let me just say like this. So tr of 1 then slash td of 3, like that. Like that I would have mentioned, but I want all the table structure, right? So I can't give each time, okay boss, go to the one tr1 td1, then go tr1 td2, like that. I don't want to go. I want to make it as a dynamic instead of hard coding that. So that is the reason I'm using that. Now let's execute this one and see if it is giving the same result what we have done from the advanced for loop. Okay. I didn't say to print. Okay, let's quickly run that. Okay, so here you can see it's printing all the rows and columns. Okay, so here what I did, the columns I made it as 1 2 column dot size, right? So you can make it as equal to column dot size so that you can get all the columns value. Okay, so this is the way you can do the I mean by using the normal tr and td, or else you can dynamically print all the values. Now why I shown here this approach, because sometimes what you might need to do, instead of getting the text, let's say that you want to print that particular so let's say I mean you are getting the value right from here, so each column value you are getting. So in this particular table, so let's say somebody will tell, if the row has data is functional, check this box. So that time what you can do, so you can use this approach, because this approach will not work because you don't know which row and column you are on now. Okay, so instead of that you can use the I and j method. Okay, so that's all I had to show for today. Have a good day.